So we're just going to take a look at a couple additional validation attributes and kind of review the process. So we talked already about the model state. And basically, when you have a form that is connected to the model and we submit that form, it is validated according to the model's validation attributes. Okay, and so when that comes back to the controller, okay, we bind the model to an object, and then we check the model state to see if it is valid. And if it's not valid, then we return to the view, okay, because there's an error. Otherwise, we update the database. There's code in there that'll do that. And then we go to our index, which is our summary screen. So validation supports the DRY principle, which is don't repeat yourself. It is the core design principle of ASP.NET Core. And that is why all of the business logic is in the model. Okay, that way we don't repeat that logic over in the controller. The model handles it. And this significantly reduces the amount of code that we have to write. And that makes our programs easier to maintain. So we've talked about a lot of the attributes, but there are a couple that we have not looked at yet. And one of them is regular expressions. And regular expressions are actually available in almost every language for validation purposes, but they can get a little complicated and convoluted, actually. So I do have links to a couple reference sites that you can look at. And I always have to look up how to put these together. But basically, this one is saying that you can have lowercase a through z, you can have uppercase a through z, or you can have digits 0 through 9. Okay. And then our message is only letters and numbers are allowed. Okay. And so that is for username. Here is another super convoluted one for phone number. And so this is basically saying what is and what is not allowed. Okay, and so that is the expression. And so this is the message when it is entered incorrectly. And if you want to know specifically about phone number validation, I did include a link. If you want to know more about regular expressions, I've got links there as well. Okay, and so they kind of, these patterns that they're looking for are kind of the same among the different programming languages. Okay, so you can take a look at that. If you specifically want to check file extensions, there is actually an attribute for that. So we've got file extensions, and then you specify which extensions are valid. The compare property lets you compare two different properties, which is useful if they should have the same values. So if we have email and then we have an email confirm, we can use compare and we can put that attribute on email confirm. So we're comparing it to email to make sure they're the same. Anytime you make changes that are going to affect the database schema. Okay, and so the attributes that are not going to change the database do not require migration, but attributes that are affecting the schema do. So if you're changing the table name, if you're changing the column name, if you are specifying a key or a foreign key or an index, any of those things, then you do need to do migrations. Okay. And so here I'm calling it data annotations. I'm giving it my context, and then I'm doing an update database. Tag helpers are also considered part of validation. We did talk about those at the beginning of the course. So if you can't remember, take a look at the tag helpers that are used in controllers and the ones that are used in views.